Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Friday night, and some massive news for the Ohio State Buckeyes coming out of the recruiting trail as four-star defensive lineman London Merritt commits to Ohio State, originally from the state of Georgia, transferring down to IMG for his senior year. And you take a look at what Ohio State already has committed in this 2025 class and who they are trending for in this 2025 cycle. This is a program that very well could end as the number one recruiting class in the country come signing day. They're rolling on the recruiting trail. You have to give Ryan Day and the staff a ton of credit for what they're doing. Want to get into London Merritt, but also talk about some more names that probably on commitment watch for Ohio State over the next couple of weeks. Before we get into it, just want to say thank you to you guys. It has been a blast covering the recruiting trail over the last couple of weeks. Cannot thank you guys enough for all the support you guys have shown. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And again, we might have another commitment to talk about tomorrow, and we'll keep you guys as updated as possible with what Ohio State is doing on the recruiting trail. And without further ado, let's get into London Merritt. And the first thing I want to talk about with London Merritt, and you turn on the film, the versatility for London Merritt is extremely exciting. This is a guy that's 6'3", 250 pounds. You see him line up all over the field on the defensive side of the football. He'll play the 3-tech. He'll play that 5-tech. He'll even play as a stand-up outside linebacker at times. There are a ton of ways that he can impact a defense. And you look at Jim Knowles and what he wants to do on defense. He wants to move the guys around a lot, put them in a lot of different spots, give the opposing offenses a lot of different looks. London Merritt, kind of similar to Edric Houston, like we talked about in the 2024 class, kind of gives Ohio State that versatility on the defensive side of the football. Now, getting into the film, the thing that stands out to me about London Merritt the most is the power that he plays with. This is a guy that his hands are like cinder blocks, really shocks opposing offensive linemen, very good at disengaging from blocks, kind of being a block destructor. You fire up the film. Talk about versatility, kind of starting the first film rep where you're taking a look at him as being kind of that stand-up off-ball linebacker, firing downhill. You see the shock that he puts in to opposing offensive linemen, getting off a block, getting behind the line of scrimmage, making a play. You see him line up all over the field and impact the defense in a lot of different ways, kind of that stand-up look from here. And again, you take a look at the hands that he has, his ability to disengage from blocks. He sends shockwaves to opposing offensive linemen. Again, kind of that stand-up role here. And he also uses his hands, not just power, but he's a guy that I'm going to use my hands to give a little swim move, kind of ghost that guard, go have some closing speed on the quarterback. Really, really good athlete in space for 250 pounds. And you talk about the ability to play in space as a defensive lineman, whether you're playing on the inside or the outside, you got to have that closing speed. Quarterbacks are able to extend plays, get outside the pocket. You need defensive linemen, whether you're playing on the inside or on the edge, to be athletic, have that closing speed. London Merritt certainly shows that on the film. Again, continuing to take a look at what London Merritt does. The power in his hands. I mean, he benches this tackle out there, puts him on his knees, and then go look at the closing speed. This is a guy that has a high motor going, hawking down the quarterback. That's textbook. That's what you want to see from a defensive lineman. Again, really good hands, inside move here, ragdolling that tackle. Very, very exciting prospect that you can put all around the defensive line. Again, kind of working on the inside of that tackle on this rep, taking on that kind of H-back, getting off a block, hawking down the quarterback. Disruptor, a guy that can play in space. And you take a look at what Ohio State has in this 2025 class, extremely impressive. You got the two top cornerbacks in the country in Naheem Offord and Devin Sanchez. You got the number 2 quarterback in the country, top 10 national player, Tavion St. Clair, who you talk about upside as a quarterback. This kid has it all. You continue to scroll down. Carter Lowe, one of the top tackles in the class, broke him down about a month ago. Extremely athletic for his size. You continue to scroll down, and it is just a loaded class for Ohio State. That this is only their 8th commitment, but they're going to be a top 5 class in the country sitting here, late April or late March, I should say. And you take a look at what Ohio State is building on the recruiting trail. I want to talk about another guy that is on commitment watch tomorrow, and that is Tarvos Alford from the state of Florida. You talk about modern-day linebackers, Alford's one of those guys. This is a guy that at 6'2", 210 pounds, runs an 11.6 in the 100-meter dash, and we use that term a lot. Modern-day college football linebackers, you need your linebackers to be able to operate in space. Think of a guy like Sonny Styles. Kind of that's exactly what you picture in terms of that modern linebacker that, hey, I can go carry a tight end up the seam. I can go tackle a running back in the flat, go sideline to sideline. I think that's what Alford brings to Ohio State. He's committing tomorrow. It sounds like Ohio State in the driver's seat on that commitment. We'll break that one down when and if it comes. Next guy I want to talk about who's on campus this weekend for Ohio State, a loaded visitor list for Ohio State. Number 1 offensive tackle in the class, David Sanders Jr. Now, yes, Clemson's probably the leader in the clubhouse, but these are the recruiting battles that we really want to see Ohio State start to win. We've said this before. Ohio State, pick of the litter with quarterbacks and wide receivers and running backs, edge rushers. The tackle class, that hasn't necessarily been the strong suit for Ohio State. You want to see them start winning out for some of these top tackles. David Sanders Jr. at 6'6", up to 280 pounds, one of the most athletic tackles I have seen at the high school level. There's a very good reason he's the number 2 national player in the country. Really big opportunity for Ohio State to kind of pick up some traction and kind of gain some ground on the recruitment of David Sanders Jr. You talk about having David Sanders Jr. and a guy like Carter Lowe as your 2 tackles in this class. That is very, very intriguing. Last guy I want to talk about that, again, maybe on commitment watch, is Dorian Brew from Conroe, Texas. And if they land Dorian Brew, and we've talked about it, we just talked about it yesterday. I think Ohio State has the number 1 secondary in the country heading into 2024. You land a guy like Dorian Brew who has all the length, the ball skills, the long speed that you want to go ahead with Devin Sanchez and Naheem Offord. That is going to be a cornerback room that might be the most talented group in the country in this 2025 class. No doubt it will be, in fact. That is extremely exciting for Ohio State. Really do like London Merritt. Really do like what Ohio State is doing on the recruiting trail. Got to give them their props. They're absolutely crushing it. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys again. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.